What's going on, guys? Love Smash, back with an all new video for you guys today, and in today's video I'm giving you guys my top 10 picks of the characters that I would like to see in Smash Bros. As DLC. And this is going to be the first top 10 of two different top 10s discussing Smash Bros. DLC. The second video I'm going to be doing is talking about the top 10 fan requested characters. And the way I set this up was I made a poll on strawpoll.com. I listed about 30 characters, so if you guys would like to help me out and vote on that list, click the link either in the comments and description and pick one character you guys would like, and in about a week or two, when it gets to about 2,000 votes, I'm going to do a video about it. But today I'm focusing on my picks. Now, it has not been confirmed just yet of how many characters we are going to get via DLC, and of course I don't expect all 10 of these characters to make it, or even to get 10 characters as DLC, but I figured 10 was a nice round number to start with rather than 5, and I base my picks on characters that I personally think have a great moveset potential and would make excellent additions to the roster. Now, before we start, I just want to say two things. The first one being that these are not ranked in any particular order, meaning like 1 is the best or 10 is the least likely. There is no ranking on these. And the second thing I would like to say is I did not include any characters on my list that already appear in Smash Bros. Whether they appear as assist trophies, Pokemon coming out of Pokeballs, stage bosses or stage hazards, or characters that appear in another character's final smash. So without further ado, let's dive right in and talk about my top 10 picks of characters that I would like to see as DLC. And let's start this list off with a fan favorite. Number 1, Isaac from Golden Sun. Now, it's no surprise that not only is Isaac very popular, he's also been highly requested for Smash Bros. For a very long time. And ever since being cut from being an assist trophy, a lot of fans are holding out hope that he will get the Little Mac treatment and be bumped up to a playable character. And I feel the same way as well. Now, a lot of people are probably saying we don't need another sword fighter in Smash Bros. But Isaac is much more than your average sword fighter. Isaac has a variety of psi energy attacks that he could use that would make him not only very popular among the fans, but would make him very unique to the roster as well. And I hope if Isaac does end up making the roster, they go with his 14-year-old design rather than his newer, older appearance, because that's the one that fans have known to grow in love and associate with the Golden Sun series, and that's why Isaac is one of the picks on my list. Moving on to my number 2 pick is Dixie Kong. Now, if you guys go back and watch the first video I ever posted over a year and a half ago, Dixie was one of the characters on my list of characters I wanted to see playable, and to this day, I still want her in the game. I'm still pulling for her. I think there's a lot they could do with a moveset to make her very unique and not just a clone of Diddy. For example, they can incorporate her hair into a number of her attacks. Like, she could use her hair as like a helicopter. That would be her up B move, as you guys just saw right there. Maybe she can like use her guitar in her moveset, or part of her final smash where she'll like whip out the guitar and start rocking out, similar to like Donkey Kong's final smash, or she could like jump on Rambi and ram into the foes as a final smash. Either way, it adds another female rep to the roster and another Donkey Kong rep as well. Whatever they do, I think there's a lot that could be done there, and I'm still pulling for Dixie to make it to the roster. Moving on to my number 3 pick is Rayman, the first of 2 third-party characters on my list. Now, it's no secret that the fans want Rayman in. He's highly requested, he's very popular. Even though I don't think we need another third-party rep, Rayman is one of the only characters I'm willing to make that exception for. He's one of my highly requested picks. I think he would fit incredibly well with Smash Bros. He has an amazing moveset potential. And of course, we have the Rayman trophies in there. The Rayman, Barber, and Globox trophies. We still have no explanation of why they're there. So it seems like they not only have permission for the trophy, they also have the Rayman model. So why not just go the extra mile, make Rayman playable, and make the fans happy? Moving on to my number 4 pick is Crystal, a character that fans have been requesting for a very long time now. Not only would Crystal add another female rep to the roster, but as well a new Star Fox rep. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably saying, how come you didn't choose Wolf? I am going to talk about Wolf later in the video when I talk about my theories. But the reason I chose Crystal is because I wanted to choose another newcomer, and I feel like there's so much they could do with a potential moveset for Crystal. She could use her staff, she could use guns, she could use grenades. Maybe her final smash could be like she rides in the R-Wing and starts attacking, or maybe she can ride like on the giant pterodactyl from Star Fox Adventures and attack that way. But I know Crystal has been highly requested, not to mention her amazing moveset potential that would make her very unique, along with the skin she could have, like a Star Fox Adventure skin, an Assault skin, her Command skin, her Curse skin. I think there's a lot they could do with Crystal. Moving on to my 5th pick is Sceptile. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking, oh, another Pokemon rep, we have so many as it is, and I couldn't agree more. However, out of a possible over 700 Pokemon, Sceptile is the only one I'm willing to make that exception for, him being one of my all-time favorites, not to mention he would round out the grass, fire, and water types. He's been highly requested for Smash Bros, and there's so much potential there for a moveset. Leaf Blade, Pound, Absorb, Bullet Seed, Solar Beam, just to name a few, but there are so many possible options for a moveset. Not to mention his final smash could be him having turned into Mega Sceptile. He would also add a 3rd generation Pokemon to the roster, so for all those reasons, that's why I had to go with Sceptile. Moving on to my number 6 pick is Chibi-Robo. Now, I know what you guys are probably saying. Why out of all the possible Nintendo characters would you choose him? Well, I know he may not be the most popular or well-known character, but he has starred in 4 games, and I think he has a great moveset potential that would translate well into Smash. He could use his chibi blaster, he could use his toothbrush, he could use his spoon similar to like Villager's shovel where it would bury people. He also has his chibi copter that he could fly around with. Now, if he was to be a character in Smash Bros., he would probably have to be very similar to Pichu, where he'd be a very tiny character, and he would have to take damage every time he used an attack. Just like in the chibi-robo games, every time you move around, he loses battery life. So he'd have to be a character like that. However, I thought of something in his moveset they could do, like his down B or something can be like he takes his plug and he plugs it into the ground, or an outlet that appears, and he would recover some of the damage that he took. So like I said, he may not be a very highly requested character, but I think he's very unique and deserves a shot, even though I see him as kind of slim to be included. Now moving on to pick lucky number 7, and that is King K. Rool. Yes, another Donkey Kong rep, you betcha. Now King K. Rool has been highly requested for so long, and now with the Smash Bros. Fighter Ballot, I've been seeing tons of comments on my videos, as well as other people's videos. People want King K. Rool in. It would not shock me if he was one of the top 3 vote getters at this point. People want another Donkey Kong rep and another villain, and he fits both of those categories. Now for a moveset, his standard B could be his crown throw, his side B could be his musket from Donkey Kong Country 2, and he could shoot out projectiles with it. His up B could be like that little helicopter jetpack he has from Donkey Kong Country 3, where he can fly around for a little bit. Probably not that long since he is a very heavy character, he'd probably be very limited with that. And finally, his down B could be the butt bounce from Donkey Kong 64. And for his final smash, what I was thinking could be like pretty much go back to Donkey Kong Country 1 and just have him rain cannonballs down from the sky. But anyway you slice it, I think King K. Rool's got an amazing moveset potential, and I think he's got a great shot to be included as DLC, and Donkey Kong Country being the first game I ever played, I'm rooting for him. Moving on to my 8th pick with Impa. And Impa is a character from the Zelda universe that's appeared in just about 10 games. Even though she had a different form in each game, she's been around for a really long time. Now, a lot of fans were scratching their heads wondering why we didn't get a new Zelda rep this time around in Smash Bros., and I think Impa's a character that would really fit the bill nicely. Now, Impa, if you saw her play out in Hyrule Warriors, she uses 2 different weapons. She has both a giant sword as well as a naginata, and I think both of those would equally transfer well into a moveset for Smash Bros. If they wanted to give her one or the other, or they can give her both and make her really unique. But anyway you slice it, I think Impa's badass and would make an excellent addition to the roster. And if she is included, I hope they go with the Hyrule Warriors design, because I really love that design. And maybe something like this could be your final Smash? Who knows? But I love the choice of Impa. Moving on to my 9th pick with the Ice Climbers. Now, we all know the story of what happened with the Ice Climbers. Sakurai and the team had them running perfectly fine on the Wii U version, but when it came to the 3DS, they were just too much. The limitations on there led them to being cut. Now, barring some miracle that the team figured out how to make this work, my idea is to bring the Ice Climbers back, but to split them up and have them as separate characters. Meaning, make Popo a separate character, give him 3 alternate colors, make Nana a skin for him, give her 3 alternate colors, you beef up their moves since they're not fighting as a tandem anymore, so you make them a little stronger, you change their up B move to maybe something like this, to that Condor or Pterodactyl, which will fly them up for a couple seconds, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Now, I know a lot of people aren't fans of that idea because it takes away the Ice Climbers' one defining feature of fighting as a duo, but I'd rather have the Ice Climbers fighting as separate characters than not having them in the game at all. And especially when you play Ice Climber, the original game on NES, they don't fight as a tandem, they fight as separate characters. So I'm really hoping to see the Ice Climbers back, and I know a lot of people as well want to see them back, so I'm hoping we see them because they're one of my top 3 picks along with Rayman and Dixie for DLC, so hoping to see them back real soon. And on to my 10th and final pick with Banjo and Kazooie. Now I know what you guys are saying, Banjo and Kazooie are owned by Microsoft, they're never going to be in. Now I did a whole video covering that, as well as some news that recently popped up, where Phil Spencer, for those of you guys who don't know is the head of Xbox and Microsoft Studios, replied to a fan who asked about Banjo, and he said, "I think it would be cool if Banjo was in the next Smash Bros. DLC. We worked with Nintendo on Rare IP before, no issues." Now I know this is nowhere a confirmation that Banjo is going to be included. We know what Sakurai stated when it comes to third-party characters, and this includes Rayman. It's a lot of hoops to jump through, and it's got to be a very special situation. Now these are the only 2 characters that are third-party that are on my list, because they are the only 2 third-party characters I would make an exception for. Now Banjo, we know the history that he has with Nintendo, he's highly popular, he's very requested, and there's no doubt that him and Kazooie would fit absolutely perfect in Smash Bros. The moveset, everything they could do would just be awesome. But it comes to a question, is Nintendo going to negotiate with a rival gaming company? And it brings up another question, was Phil Spencer saying this because he really believes Banjo would be good in Smash Bros. And he wants to work out a deal? Or because he just wants free publicity for Xbox and Microsoft, knowing that there's a Banjo game potentially coming out really soon? So I'm not holding out a lot of hope that this is going to happen, because I think realistically, but a small part of me is holding out for a miracle here, hoping that Banjo-Kazooie will get a one-time exception and be included in Smash Bros. As DLC. It would be an absolutely dream come true, and fans would just go nuts. So guys, those are my top 10 picks for characters that I would like to see as DLC. Now I know with the Smash Bros. Fighter Ballot, there are a lot of characters that fans have been requesting, so I may have missed a couple characters on my list. Now I don't hate or dislike the characters, but there are a couple of reasons why I left a few characters off. Which brings me to my honorable mentions. And these are just a few characters that I know fans have been requesting, and I will go on record by saying all of them would make great additions to the roster. But for one reason or another, I decided to leave them off my list. First starting off with the Inklings. Now from all the footage we've seen of Splatoon, there's no doubt you can make a great moveset for them. For instance, like the Ink Blaster, the Ink Sniper Rifle, the Giant Paintbrush, the Giant Paint Roller, there's a lot that can be done there. Not to mention you can also swap between a male and a female, just like with Villager, Robin, and Wii Fit Trainer. But the reason I decided to leave Inklings off my list was because we haven't even gotten the chance to play Splatoon yet because it's not even out to the public, and it won't be out for another month. So how do I know I want these characters in when I haven't even had the chance to play the game yet? Now, there's no doubt that this game looks good, and Nintendo seems to be hyping it up a lot, releasing amiibos and stuff, and by adding them to the roster, it'd be definitely a good thing to boost sales and get publicity for the game. But until I actually play the game with my own hands, how do I know I want these characters in? So that's why I decided to leave them off my list. But like I said, they would make great additions, and we don't know, maybe this could be the next big franchise for Nintendo, maybe it won't, and maybe they'll add them as DLC, maybe they won't, maybe they'll wait till Smash Bros. 5 to add them as playable characters. I don't know, but I know a lot of people are probably upset with me they weren't on my list, but that's my reasoning for it. Moving on to the other character with Bandana Waddle Dee. Another character that's been highly requested, no doubt great moveset potential for him, but the reason I decided not to add Bandana D or any other Kirby reps or Kid Icarus reps is because I feel like we have so much Sakurai-themed representation in Smash Bros. Already with 3 Kirby characters, 3 Kid Icarus characters. I wanted to add some characters from other franchises. And moving on to the other characters that I know a lot of people have been requesting are a Rhythm Heaven representative, meaning like Marshall, Karate Joe, and the Chorus Men. All 3 would make great additions, but I talked about Rhythm Heaven in older videos that it is a big franchise for Nintendo and could use some representation, but since there is no set main character in the series, it'd be hard to choose which character that would be best to represent the series as a whole. I mean, Marshall was like the poster boy for Rhythm Heaven Fever, Karate Joe has appeared in all the games, the Chorus Men ever since being on the Gamatsu League people wanted them in, so I didn't know which character would be best to choose. And I should also mention that another Rhythm Heaven game is currently in the works to be released in a few months in Japan, so it'd be a great way to promote for the series by including a character in Smash Bros. But it depends how the fans vote on which character would they want to see. Would they rather see one of these new characters? Would they rather see an old character? If I was going to choose one character, I'd probably say Karate Joe based on the fact that he is a fighter and he has appeared in every game, but who knows if Rhythm Heaven will ever get a representative. So those are just a few characters that I know fans have been requesting on the Smash Ballot. Now I want to talk to you guys about some theories I was having regarding DLC. Now we know we found out back in November that Mewtwo was returning, and we found out a few weeks ago on April 1st that Lucas was coming back as well. So now that's 2 veterans that were cut in previous Smash Bros. Games that are being brought back as DLC. So my question is it possible that other veterans are currently being worked on right now by the team to be brought back over the next few months and be included as DLC? Now, like I said, guys, this is only a theory. It's just something that could be a possibility. I'm not saying it's definitely happening. I'm just saying you got to think about this because there's 2 veterans that were brought back due to fan demand. How do we know there's not other characters being worked on? And it's a lot easier to bring back a veteran than it is to introduce a brand new character from the start because you have to think of a moveset for the character, think of taunts, a final smash, and all this other stuff, work on the character model. But with veterans, you have all the reference material. They've been in the game before, you have the model done, you have the moveset done, so pretty much it's just a thing of reskinning the character with better graphics and tweaking the moveset a little bit and putting them in the game. Now, I'm not saying it's an easy task by any means, but I'm saying it's a lot easier than introducing a brand new character because you have pretty much half the work done already. So my question is, do you guys think there's a possibility that other veterans, such as like Wolf, Ice Climbers, Roy, etc., are currently being worked on by the team and are going to be introduced as DLC over the next few months, and then the Smash Ballot, when that is finished in October, the voting is done, those will consist of newcomers to the series. Now, like I said, this hasn't been confirmed happening, I'm just saying it's something to think about considering 2 veterans have already been brought back, maybe there's more on the way as well. Now, speaking of the cut veterans, specifically Roy, rumors have popped up. I have done a video about this if you guys want to check it out, I'll put the link in the comments and description, and it's a rumor going around with audio files hinting that Roy's victory theme was found on the new update 1.06 version of the 3DS version of Smash Bros, along with a victory theme for Ryu from Street Fighter and a Street Fighter 2 stage. Like I said, I did a video covering all this if you want to check it out. Now, this has not been confirmed to be true or fake yet, but it's something to consider. So maybe it's a possibility other veterans are being brought back, like Roy, Ice Climbers, Wolf, etc. Who knows, but I'd like to think there could be veterans being worked on now, and then when the Smash Ballot ends, those will consist of newcomers to the series. So that's pretty much my theory. And the last thing I wanted to say before I go is if you guys would like to help me out and fill out the Smash Bros poll that I made on strollpoll.com, please feel free to do so. When I get about 2,000 votes on it, I'm going to do my discussion on the top 10 fan-voted characters for DLC. So be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, let me know what you guys think about my top 10, any of my theories, anything that I mentioned in this video, please feel free to comment about. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Greatly appreciated if you do, especially if you guys are fighting game fans and want the latest news and speculation on fighting games like Super Smash Bros., Mortal Kombat, Pokken Tournament, and Street Fighter. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, you guys can follow me on Twitter. The link will be in the comments and description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys with a brand new video really soon.